This is Teaching Social Studies Survival Guide, How to Explain Tariffs. What is a tariff? A tariff is a tax on foreign goods. During the Articles of Confederation, each state was essentially a separate country and they placed tariffs on each other. Why was this problematic? You can have the students watch the demonstration and see. I always think that notes should be very, very short. These are essentially all the notes that your students are going to need for this topic. I would shorten the second bullet point there. I'm explaining a little more for teachers, but that second bullet point's a little too long. Actually, it's way too long. But that's all the notes they're going to need to understand tariffs. All right, so how to demonstrate the burden of tariffs? Number one is to tell the students that you would like to sell something to the student in the very back of the room. Work out a hypothetical good deal for the student for the item. To really ham it up, for example, maybe take out your brand new smartphone and to sell it to them agree to sell it to them for $20. It's even better if they actually have the money on them, but that's certainly not necessary. Number two is to explain that you need to travel from the front of the room to the back. To the students, each desk you walk by is a state and that this is a far journey. Number three, give the students an option. Let you go by for free or to place a tariff on you. This is a good place to reinforce the original notes. Students, remember, are never going to learn something from the notes the first time. So they're going to, of course, ask, what's a tariff? Go back to the notes and let's look at it again. See the original definition. It's a tax that you, the teacher, will pay the student. It's a tax on foreign goods. You're the teacher walking into their state and they're going to be taxing you. It's money that you're paying to them. In this case, explain that we will represent tariffs by placing a burden on you, the seller, or the teacher, which is the seller. If the student would like to tax you, and that's totally their choice, they can choose to tax you or not, they will give you a textbook to carry on your journey to the customer. It's like a burden. All right, so the students can take out their textbooks and they can choose to give you their textbook and make you carry it through their state, or they can choose to let you walk free. It's their choice. For dramatic effect, beg each student not to tax you as you go by. All right, just really get into your personal relationship with them. You can really ham it up for comedic effect. Come on, Jim, we've known each other a long time. I gave you that B or that A in last marking period. You know we get along really well. Please don't tax me. Please let me go by for free. Most students in my experience, middle school or high school, will find it hilarious and choose to tax you, making your trip quite heavy. They're going to get it really, really quick. That as those textbooks start to pile up, it's going to get more and more funny as you go by. Number five is to demonstrate the problem with tariffs. You can do one or both of the following. I've done it both ways. Sometimes I do one, sometimes I do the other, and sometimes I do it both if the students are having trouble seeing it. The first thing you can do is simply collapse when the books get too heavy, when there's too much tax burden placed upon you. You simply can't get there. It's the equivalent of your company going broke. Or the other thing you can do is when you make it to the final student, dump the books on his desk and make him pay for the item plus the cost of the books. You can ask the student, would you like to pay for the cell phone for the $20 plus the cost of all these books I had to carry? And they're going to be like, absolutely not. I don't want this. All right? So that's basically how to do it, and here are your student engagement questions. Ask the students to discuss, then again, I always have them write about formally these questions. So A is, what are tariffs, and what about the structure of the government during the Articles of Confederation caused them to exist? The answer we're looking for there is that the Articles of Confederation were all the states were essentially separate countries. They're all looking out for their own interests. They don't care about the interests of anything else. That's something you're looking for in the students' answers. B, what problems did tariffs pose to the American economy during the Articles of Confederation? During this time, you're jacking up prices, which interferes with commerce. That's a really bad thing. When prices go up, essentially nobody can trade with anybody else. The prices are so high that nobody can buy or sell anything, and then all states lose. Essentially speaking, no state is going to raise any tax revenue because the prices are going to be so high. If you wanted to go from, I don't know, Georgia to a northern state like New Jersey, you're not, or a northern state, a middle state, or a northern state, you are not going to be able to get there. The prices are going to be so high that all commerce is going to stop. And lastly, C, what solutions can you think of for the problem of tariffs? The fundamental one that we're looking for here, there could be several answers, but the fundamental one is that simply in the American Constitution, you are going to have a ban on tariffs. You can't tax out-of-state goods. That's unacceptable because it destroys commerce. So that's how to teach about tariffs.